For the second time in less than a week, some San Diegans trying to get the COVID vaccine are instead getting their appointments postponed. This is a live look at the Petco Park Superstation, which tomorrow will be shut down once again. Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Hunt, and the winter weather plaguing much of the country is causing delays in vaccine shipments. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is tracking which sites are rescheduling appointments and where shots are still available.
Winter storms across the country are causing vaccination appointments to be rescheduled here in San Diego County.
Several shipments that were scheduled to arrive this week will not be arriving due to weather constraints.
After a Moderna shipment delay last week, the Petco Park Superstation had to close down for 3 days and reschedule appointments. The site did reopen Wednesday, but is now expected to close once again and reschedule appointments set for Friday and Saturday. The county says the closure may extend to Sunday and Monday depending on vaccine arrival, but people impacted will be rescheduled through MyChart and emailed. All county pods in the San Marcos Superstation will be offering second doses only. The county says first dose appointments will automatically be rescheduled. The San Diego Fire Department canceled all appointments for Thursday at the Balboa Park Municipal Gym. They say once additional doses do arrive, a rescheduling email will be sent. Myron Sionko with Sharp Healthcare says all 3 Sharp-sponsored county locations will still be able to get through all appointments Thursday. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there are only enough doses for Pfizer appointments.
Those would be for the Sharp Vaccination Superstation centers in the South Bay here in Chula Vista, in the Grossmont Center Mall in La Mesa, and our clinic in the city of Coronado.
He says people who were set to get a Moderna vaccine at any of those locations Friday, Saturday, or Sunday will now be rescheduled.
For example, if they were supposed to receive their Moderna vaccine this Saturday, they will be rescheduled to the following Saturday where possible.
For the downtown Escondido site that Palomar Health is running, all Friday appointments have been canceled and will be rescheduled through MyTurn, but Saturday appointments are still good to go. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Scripps Health hasn't had to delay or cancel any appointments. The Del Mar Fairgrounds Superstation has appointments scheduled through Sunday between 8 a.m. and noon. And state lawmakers agreed on a $6.5 billion proposal to get kids back into the classroom this spring, as ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes shows us. This comes as parents rallied to reopen schools at San Diego Unified.
The state requires the counties fall under a certain threshold before a widespread elementary school opening, and it must stay that way for 5 consecutive days. San Diego County is on track to doing just that after the county's case rate dipped Tuesday to 22 cases per 100,000 people. Ultimately, it's the district's choice if they decide to reopen, but some parents are pushing to have their kids back in the classrooms.
Obviously, everyone needs to be safe and wear masks, but the kids need to be together. They need to be having full-time instruction with teachers.
And I'm just worried that, being Zoom at home and being cooped up all the time, they're not getting the help they need.
Back to school! Back to school!
A rally was held outside of Sunset View Elementary School this morning. Dozens of parents and students holding signs, many of them reading "Kids or Students First" and "Reopen Schools." Elementary schools in San Diego County are blocked by the state from reopening until the county's daily new case rate falls below 25 per 100,000 residents. A reminder, some elementary schools are able to do in-person learning right now. This is due to a provision that allowed them to reopen if they were already open before November, when cases started to rise in San Diego. In order for other schools to reopen under the state's guidelines, the counties have to stay under 25 for 5 consecutive days. Middle and high schools are blocked from reopening even longer. Those students will have to wait until the county falls below 7 per 100,000 residents. Recently, the San Diego Unified School District said it wants California leaders to move more quickly on the vaccine rollout for teachers. We reached out to them again this morning and are still waiting to hear back. Natay Holmes, ABC 10 News.
The state legislature proposal would triple the funding for schools and require county public health departments to offer vaccinations to school staff who return to in-person classes. And State Senate Leader Tony Atkins of San Diego sent us this statement in part. California students need to get back in the classroom, and there is no easy solution to getting them there in the midst of the pandemic. These bills move us closer and build on the governor's framework based on feedback that we've heard from parents, students, and school employees, including teachers.
There's new data on how COVID-19 vaccines stack up against concerning mutations of this virus. Pfizer says that South Africa's variant in particular can reduce antibody protection by 2/3 with its shot. Now, it's not clear yet exactly what level of antibodies you need to protect against the virus. So that doesn't mean that the vaccine does not work. Experts believe both Pfizer and Moderna still offer some protection against severe disease and death from the variants. Meanwhile, head of the CDC is revealing plans to track variants here in the U.S.
We need to have a public health surveillance system put in place where we can understand the variants that are out there. And you have to do that both by having enough sequencing going on, and then you have to have that sequencing be representative of what's happening across the country.
The CDC director says the agency will start getting about 750 samples a week from labs in every state. They're also partnering with 7 academic universities and several commercial labs to get samples. From there, they need to detect, study, and test variants.
What happens if you take convalescent plasma? Does it neutralize these variants? What happens if you take plasma from people who've been vaccinated, and with which vaccine? And can we start to see the science behind what happens when we've isolated these variants?
The government has already scaled up testing variants from about 250 samples a week to thousands, but they admit they're not where they need to be yet. Additional resources are needed to analyze and pay for sequencing, which has been estimated to be around $150 per sample. It could be less at higher volumes.
If we are able to immunize enough people over a shorter period of time, then we are going to actually be able to get around this problem of the new variants.
Doctors with the Infectious Diseases Society of America agree that vaccines are still the best protection against COVID variants. They see vaccine hesitancy as a larger problem that could fuel variants spreading.
A worker is seriously injured after something happened today at the stadium demolition in Mission Valley. Sky 10 was overhead this morning as the ambulance arrived. The camera also spotted an area coned off where the ambulance pulled up. The fire department tells us the injured person was a man in his 30s. We also checked with Cal OSHA. They told us they're already investigating. The person killed in a motorcycle crash last month near Camp Pendleton has been identified as a Marine. CHP says the officer tried to pull over 2 speeding motorcycles on January 5th, and one biker pulled over and on an off ramp, and the other sped up, ran a stop sign, and then got back on the freeway. A short time later, the officer found the motorcycle crashed in the median. The medical examiner told the Union Tribune the Marine was Lance Corporal Joshua Lejour of Ohio. And the power is going back on for some, but more than 400,000 people are still blacked out from the deadly winter storm in Texas. And now there's a water crisis as well. Home plumbing is frozen. Many pipes have burst, flooding houses and businesses. Almost the entire state is being told to boil drinking water because the treatment plants have been shut down from the power problems. 11 people so far have died in Texas.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
Just a few hours ago, this was NASA as the Mars rover successfully landed. And now we're seeing the first images sent back of the rocky surface of the red planet. Yesterday, we told you how San Diego-based Qualcomm helped with a key part of the mission to search for signs of life. The Perseverance rover will be doing tests over the next month.
A new immigration bill plans to shorten the path to U.S. citizenship for millions of immigrants already in the country. Right now, immigrants have to wait 13 years to become citizens. The measure would shorten that to 8 years. It would also provide a shorter track for DACA recipients or undocumented immigrants brought here as children. Now, experts think certain parts of the bill could win bipartisan support if it's broken up. All right, new numbers are showing the impact that this pandemic is having on how long we're expected to live. The story starting the news feed that life expectancy in the United States dropped by a year in the first half of 2020, which is huge. The number is even more staggering for Black and Hispanic Americans. The CDC saying Black Americans' life expectancy went down by nearly 3 years, and it's nearly 2 years for those who are Hispanic. Now, the government is fining hundreds of companies for putting their workers at risk during the pandemic. More than 300 employers now facing fines of a total of around $4 million. But with that said, only about a third of the companies are actually paying those fines, according to Reuters. Walmart saw a boost in sales during the pandemic, and now it's promising to give a raise to its 425,000 workers, boosting their pay to above $15 an hour. The minimum starting pay will stay at $11 an hour.